There are several reasons why you might want to sharpen up a shot after you've imported it into Photoshop. Now if it's a raw shot, then the camera won't have automatically sharpened the picture, so it could be quite soft. And also if you're going to print on an inkjet printer, then it can end up looking much softer than it does on the screen. So a little bit of sharpening helps give you a print with more punch. But to see the shot more closely, press Z for the zoom tool and then just zoom in to actual pixels, and that gives you a better idea of whether the shot is sharp enough or not. Now, there's different ways to sharpen up our picture, so what I'll do first of all is just duplicate this layer here so we've got an original version to look at later. Then we've got options in filter, and you've got a sharpen section down here. So, ignore all of these here because these are presets, you don't really have much control over these, but Smart Sharpen gives you more control over the finished look. Now if you click, you can see the before version, let go, and there's the after. And just increase the amount there to increase the amount of sharpening. The radius basically lets the sharpening spread out because all sharpening is doing is increasing the contrast around the edge of pixels in the shot. So if you've got a high contrast edge like this here, if you just increase radius, then you end up with a much stronger contrast. But if you go too far, you end up with halos and blown out highlights and black outlines and things like that. So it's really over the top. Basically, as a rule, keep radius less than 2. Now if you do find your highlights are getting blown out or you've got artifacts in the shadows due to strong sharp edges, you can click on Advanced and try and target the problem areas by fading the amount of sharpening in just the highlights. And you can also balance that so it's either in the shadows or the highlights using tonal width, and again you can play with radius here too. So that's a nice way to fine-tune the initial sharpening effect. If that looks a little bit too complicated, Smart Sharpen, just cancel that for the moment and let's try a different option. Let's go to Filter, Sharpen, and just go to Unsharp Mask, which is the old version. You've got a much smaller interface. It does a similar job. You've got mount here, so we can take that up, whack up radius. You can see there's the before, there's the after. Quite a dramatic contrast change there. So you can turn down the volume of these two using this master slider, which is threshold. So just take that down and then get a balance. And that's actually much quicker and faster and easier once you are confident with using this particular tool. Click OK, and there's our sharper version. So we can turn off the before and the after. It's better if I zoom in again to a closer look, something like 100%. There's the sharper version, and there's the slightly softer version on the layer below.